Karibuni Niote. I hope I did that right. It's a pleasure to be here, dear customers, partners, industry leaders, and colleagues. My name is Sukirat Singh Kochar. I am the Executive Director and Chief Revenue Officer for Sonoida. So I have the privilege of driving our company's efforts to build stronger customer relationships, drive revenue growth, build new partnerships, and more importantly, deliver on the value that you've come to expect from us. So it's a pleasure to be in Kenya. Kenya is a story for me personally. I came here for the first time in 2002. As I started my professional career, one of the first places I traveled to was Kenya. So today, a lot of people, when I meet them for the first time as a hospitable Kenyan, they'll always ask, is this your first trip to Kenya? And then I did a count actually before this trip. So this is my, I think, 120th trip to Kenya over the last 20 odd years. So, and some of us who travel, we realize that certain places feel like a burden when you have to go there. But Kenya, even today, I told my wife before coming, there's always some sense of excitement and anticipation when you have to travel to Nairobi. So not only do you have a beautiful country, from Masai Mara to the shores of the Indian Ocean, but how can I also not talk about your beautiful golf courses, which is what we love here in Kenya. But more importantly, it is you, the people of Kenya, who make it truly beautiful. And why I say that is because it's your hospitality, it's your openness to new ideas, it is your resilience, and it is your entrepreneurial skills. Even working in a bank, I see many entrepreneurs every day when we have meetings because they are really thinking outside the box. So please credit yourself because you have something unique in Kenya, and we truly appreciate it when we come, and we love being here. So let me take you back in time when we started Sonoida, to the time of inception of Sonoida. And that was the time when everybody was talking about data being the biggest asset, data being the new oil. And at Sonoida, we thought of it and we said, essentially, data is like crude oil. So it's good only if it is refined. Otherwise, it's raw, messy, and useless. So that was the initial thinking behind setting up Sonoida. And for those of you, just to go a little sidetrack, who don't know what the meaning of Sonoida is, the word Sonoida is a Greek word which stands for empowering through knowledge. So since we were going into the business intelligence field, we thought it's an apt name at that time to set up for the company. So coming back, so we said data, like we all, John mentioned it, Suleiman mentioned it, there's so much of data we deal with, and it's almost become a painful word for a lot of people because it's become a burden in some sense for many. So we said, how can we add value to our customers? And the value addition is in the refining process. So in those days when we started, our aspiration was to become the data refinery for the banking industry. And that's really what we wanted to achieve as we set up Sonoida. So that also journey was fueled by our experience in the banking sector. We'd all worked in banks. So we saw the challenges banks were facing at that time with generic BI tools, analytics they were using. So we thought it will be nice to have a banking-specific BI solution, and that's where the genesis of Sonoida and how we started our journey as a single product company back in 2011. So that journey held us in good stead up to a point where today we have over 80 banking clients across 28 countries, and we have evolved from a single product company to having 9 unique solutions covering different area for banking and data analytics. But that has been our forte, and that's been our core competence, and we've stuck to that deliberately because we feel we should add value and add immense value to our customers, only then we should get into a particular area. And we won many global awards and accolades. I will not go into all of that today, but it's very heartening for us to see that we are on the right track and the journey has been enjoyable. This map will tell you a bit about our presence in Africa. So pretty much we cover the length and breadth of Africa across 22 countries. We have banking customers in all of these countries today, but this is just the beginning for us because we feel Africa is the next frontier of growth. Africa has huge potential. Everybody talks about it, we believe in it, and that's why we came to Africa very early, even as we started our company. So, and we have 16 banks in Kenya itself as our customers, and that's no surprise that we are holding our first flagship event, customer event in Africa, in Nairobi, Kenya. So we are pleased and very happy and excited to be here. So these are some of the banks we work with, cut across tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 banks, and that's again something which is unique about our company, that we don't restrict ourselves to a certain tier of banking. So we do financial inclusion ourselves in banking as well, where we even work with tier 3 banks. And the beauty of it has been that we have worked with banks for a number of years. As they have gone from tier 3 to tier 2, and some even to tier 1, we have helped them grow and scale up our solutions so they continue to partner with us and work with us. Let me talk about my view on the future of data analytics. But I think that's also part of our duty to share with you what's the thinking going on at Sonoida, or how do we see the future of data analytics. So there's a lot, and Suleiman, John have covered a few of those areas. So I'll touch upon 3 key areas where I feel data analytics is going to transform completely. So the first one, which is, I personally see it as a big change today, especially for banking, is use of external data. I feel even till today, a lot of banks look inward for data analytics. They look at their internal systems, mine the data from there, then they do their reports, and they use very little external data in an automated manner. So where we see the future of data analytics is that banks will start to consume a lot more external data for their analysis compared to what they do today. And that will happen in a big way. That will also happen because the number of trusted data sources externally are also increasing. I remember back in the day when we came to Africa for the first time, we would ask for feasibility reports, studies, and it would be very difficult to get data about the market, about who the players are. And today, it has improved a lot, where you see already, especially for sectors like banking and financial services, you can literally in one click get to know any bank across the continent and a lot of information which was not available earlier. Of course, coupled with the social media data, which is also external, which was not available earlier, the tools were not there, the infrastructure was not there. So a combination of all of that will make the banks look more outward. You will get the intelligence and the true sense of how your businesses are doing, not in isolation, but in view of the overall economy and in view of your competitors, and how your customers feel about you in one unified platform. So that, for me, is going to shift in a big way, and you will benefit from that. The second area, of course, we can't be in a data analytics conversation without talking about AI. But there's a little different view we have on AI, because it's a word which has been abused and used many times, and different people, like we all agree, have a different understanding of data analytics. So where we feel at Sunoida, AI, especially generative AI, will play a big role is in the integration of AI capabilities into your existing solutions. So rather than treating AI like an isolated application, we will see functionalities of AI integrate and fit into your existing solutions. We discussed some of the examples. For example, voice-based commands. To be able to generate a new KPI, a new report, a new dashboard, you don't need to write a query, you don't need to drag and drop. You will just put your query or speak in a voice command, and you'll get your information. That's how AI can help. Today, revenue leakages we are giving to banks, but AI can help us, and that's where we are investing right now, to tell you the reasons which could have caused the revenue leakage in the bank. But it's not good enough to just stop at this leakage happened, but also important to know the reasons that could have led to the leakage. So your time is used more efficiently. And the third thing, which is going to be huge and transformative, especially from all of your point of view, is your hyper-personalization of customer services for banking. So that can only happen if you have a unified understanding of your customer today. Because if you don't understand your customer's view position today, it's very difficult to then offer something to them, whether it's the next product or it's the profitability or whatever else it is linked to detailed understanding of customer, and based upon that, offering hyper-personalized services in banking to your customers. And the banks who will be able to do that will have a clear competitive advantage compared to everybody else in the market. So these three, according to me, are something, the top three as I see it. And, but there's a lot. It's an exciting time. We are happy to be in this field, especially working with the financial services sector. I think, but we've spoken about that, data analytics, AI, a lot of stuff. But today's evening for us at Sunoida is about you, our customers. It's an evening to celebrate our relationships. It's an evening to recognize how the journeys have been. Sunoida working with all of you individually. And in this context, I wanted to share 4 core values at Sunoida, which has helped us. So we thought it's apt with all of you in the room to share what are those 4 core values which has driven us at Sunoida. So the first one is putting our customers first. So at every policy decision, every strategy, every product roadmap that we devise, we first think it through from our customers' point of view, that how this decision is going to impact them. And even though we have our R&D teams, because we are a product company, we have to constantly invest in products. But trust me, a lot of our product roadmaps today are directly driven based upon feedback from our customers. And that's something which is very important for us, and it'll continue to happen this way in the future as well. A case in point I want to share with you is the Granular Data Integration Project, GDI project by the Central Bank of Kenya. So we were in contact with CBK as well, and we were talking to commercial banks because we have 16 banks in Kenya. So we got a view of what's coming up. And without waiting for somebody to tell us, we pre-designed the GDI solution and built it, kept the base ready, so when the mandate would come and banks would start to implement, it'll be a much easier and smoother journey for our customers. And today, it's no surprise to us that we have 10 banks in Kenya where we are already rolling out the GDI solution for them, and it's helping them in managing their compliance. So customer first will always be a very important value for us. Second one is listening to our customers. Now, I always say listening is an art, and unfortunately, it's becoming a diminishing art. Everybody loves to talk. Very few people like to listen. And it's true in every sphere of life today. Take your, at work, go at home, you will find everybody wanting to talk, but very few wanting to listen. So, again at Sonoida, that's something which we have tried to do and consciously kept that eyes and ears open, because listening is not only about what customers are telling you. Listening is also about understanding what they are not telling you. If they're upset about something, if something has not met their expectations, somebody may just ignore the survey. But that does not mean they are a happy customer or we've met their requirements. So it's important to listen from different points of view, and that's what we mean by true listening. So because of that, again, I want to share 2 stories with you, how it's helped and shifted the paths for our company. The first one was about 5 years back. We were in a meeting with the CEO of a bank who were our customer. They were using our business intelligence solution back in the day. So when we called for the meeting, it was a courtesy meeting. It was no agenda. It was just a coffee meeting. And we discussed and we said, the CEO thanked us for what we were doing for them. And we asked them, is there any other area we could help them with? Or any other pain points they were facing in their business where we could add value? So the CEO mentioned that actually we have a lot of revenue leakages back in the day, 5 years back. And they said we have huge volumes, and we know on a daily basis we are losing money, but we do not have any platform to address this area. And we've looked around in the market. We couldn't find a banking-specific revenue assurance solution. There are a lot of solutions for telcos, but nothing which is made for banking. So can you help us in this area? Since you're already managing a lot of our data, is that something which could add value? So we did a quick check with our couple of other customers and realized this is an industry problem. It's not limited to that bank. And within 1 year, we launched our revenue assurance solution, which today has become one of the most successful solutions of our company in the last 4 years. So today, the revenue this product generates is equal to what the BI product generates, even though it's been there from inception. And in times to come, we feel it may even overtake the BI solution in terms of how it contributes to the growth of our company. And that only happened because we listened to our customer. So it's a win-win. The customer's very happy, and we have a product here which we never thought of earlier, which is now in our stack and adding value in so many of your banks. The second story I want to share with you is something you must have seen in the video as well, that we are talking a lot about Central Bank of Rwanda. Why that project carries a lot of significance for us is because as a young startup, when we were on this journey, it was very difficult to get global mileage for us. You need to spend millions of dollars, get PR agencies to throw your news everywhere. We couldn't afford to do it that time. So BNR had a vision. They wanted to deploy a subtext solution where it would help them in proactive supervision for the financial sector. So World Bank funded them. They came up with a tender. Some 26 companies applied. We were selected based upon our experience in banking and a ready solution. But when the project contract got signed, as we were about to initiate the project, we had a meeting with the team, the central bank team, and they said, we have a small issue. So we said, what's the issue? So they said, in the requirements we gave you, there was one key piece which has not been explicitly mentioned, but it's very critical for us, which is that they wanted to pull the data directly from all bank systems, rather than banks having to upload that information on a certain portal, which is what was our understanding in the beginning. Now, this had a totally different impact on our scope of the project, the timelines, and everything else related, and added a lot of risk to the project as well, because it had not been attempted before anywhere and not deployed successfully anywhere in the world. So we again took it up as a challenge. They said if we go through a change request, all these things, we'll have to go back to the World Bank. It'll be a huge cycle, and we don't know how long that will take. So we decided, let's do this. Let's invest in this technology. And we're very pleased to share with you that the deployment at BNR became a global case study based upon what we delivered for them, where they were the first central bank globally, again, not Africa, globally, who were able to deploy a platform that allowed the regulator to pull data directly from the bank systems almost in real time if they wanted it. So this, of course, got accolades and recognition from World Bank, United Nations, BIS, Financial Services Authority of Japan, and many other global agencies. And what it transformed the way people looked at Sunoida. So that was, again, something which was very critical for us, and it only happened because of listening to customers. The third piece I want to talk about is customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is something which I think all of us in banking also will understand and appreciate. It's much easier to retain and cross-sell, upsell to an existing customer. It is very costly to acquire a new customer. There's no point getting new business if your existing customers are leaving you on the other hand. It's almost imperative that this should be in place before you go out and seek new customers. So customer loyalty is something which is something at Sonoida very important. So UBA was our first customer. As a company, when we started, UBA in Nigeria was our first customer. And 15 years later, they continue to remain as active as ever. Every year, they buy new products and services from us. We started with a small piece for them. Today, we manage their data across entire 23 countries. On a daily basis, we do their entire data warehouse, business intelligence, reg reporting, everything is through the Vision platform. And that's something which gives us a good view of how to retain customers over a period of time. Closer to home, in Kenya, I&M Bank was our first customer. You can call them the guinea pigs, so to say, at that time. That's how the view was when we were brought on to I&M. But that was back in 2012. And we cannot appreciate them enough of trusting us at that time, because that changed our journey in Kenya completely when we had a local reference here. So I&M Bank, again, we started the journey with 13 years back on a small funds transfer pricing deployment and allocations which had to be delivered within 5 days. That was the mandate from the board. And they looked around, they've heard of Sunoida, and that's how we deployed the solution to them. And 13 years later today, we have expanded the relationship to managing their entire data warehouse, business intelligence, data quality, reg reporting across not only Kenya, across 4 countries for the entire group. So again, something very important for us. And this is something which we continue to imbibe in our team as well, the value of customer loyalty. So that's something which you'll see from us moving forward as well. As I joke always when people ask Sonoida's journey, I said we are a 14-year-old startup, because the startup in us brought a certain agility in the way we operate today. So as we grow, we never want to leave that agility. The way we respond to customers, we have a pretty flat structure. So when a session is required, we try to revert in a certain period of time, not make the customers wait with a lot of bureaucracy and other things. So that's something we really appreciate from our customers as well. The last piece I want to talk about is a book called Raving Fans. So I used to work in the US in those days from 2006 to 10. So 2007-8 timeline. My CEO of the company at that time, Kathy, she's my mentor. So she called me and she said, Suki, you need to read this book. So the book title was Raving Fans. And I can tell you from personal experience, that single book has been the best investment I've made in my life, professional life, as far as reading is concerned. It's a simple, I think, 2-hour read. It took me about 2 hours to read the book. And the crux of the book is that it's not good enough to have satisfied customers in your business today. You need to have customers who are raving fans of your company and your service or the product you offer. As long as you can convert your customers to raving fans, your business will always flourish. And that's something, again, at Sunoida, we try to do every single day. Every Sunoida team member tries to perfect the art of managing the customers and customer excellence. As some of us may know who play golf, learn pretty early and sometimes the hard way, perfection is not attainable. But if we try to catch perfection, we can catch excellence. So this is a quote from one of the best sports coaches ever, called Vince Lombardi, and that's something which means a lot to us because it resonates with what we're trying to do at Sunoida. To the extent that I have this painted on my office wall in Dubai. So every morning as I enter the office, we try to remind ourselves that how can we elevate the experience of our customers and make them raving fans of our company. So that's something which is very important for us. I think at this point, I want to, in closing, just say that as customers, I can reassure you, you have our unwavering commitment and support. Thank you for trusting us with your business. You will always get the level of delivery and expectations you have from Sonoida, and even in the innovation. We'll continue to offer unique solutions to you. And thank you for gathering here as a community. It means a lot to us. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. And let's make this a memorable and great experience for all of us. Thank you. Asante sana.